Okay, so I think I'll just start with the session right now and keep on adding people as we go ahead. So, thank you all for joining in today and registering for this event. Uh, what I would be mainly focusing, I mean, that's clear by the topic. So I'll be mainly focusing on the post-production side of how the Indian studios can integrate that thing because that's the difficulty which I have been facing from during the projects when we deal in India. So to introduce myself, I my name is Parth. I work for the company called Centroid. I'll just quickly for the presentation. I'll just quickly go through what the company is, and then the entire presentation would be based on the Q&A. The format would be I would be answering the few questions which I have been regularly getting from the clients, and then we'll open the discussion for everyone over here to ask maybe their questions or even share their thoughts on what's the best pipeline to go ahead with. So to start with the session, I would say I'll start with the latest showreel first, and I'll just play the showreel for everyone over here. One second. Sorry. Perfect. So, we have been working largely in the games. So, major of our clients are films and games and TV commercials. But we also work on projects like an app, so an app-based videos and those kind of thing. So the center has been existing in UK since past 24 years, and we recently opened a performance capture and virtual production stage in India. And we were fortunate to work along with a lot of great titles that's been done over here. There are also some exciting titles which were supposed to release, but because of the COVID, it has been delayed for the next year. But that's the general background of Centroid. We are based in UK, having a production stage in UK, which is the Europe's largest stage at the moment, and we have a stage in Mumbai. We have a post-production facility which does cleanup and tracking that's based out of Serbia. So, I mean, going ahead, there's a small 30-second teaser which basically focuses on what services we provide in the production. Since this presentation is mainly on the post-production side, I'll be quickly going through with a 30-second teaser on how what are the production services that we provide. One of the, I mean, I would say a USP of Centroid is the ability of capturing animals. So there has been a lot of history, and what kind of animals the Centroid has been captured in the past. Uh, so, I mean, all this data is, I mean, the horse data is still available on the library. So I'll be focusing on that as well. I would also like to mention there's a special announcement by the end of the presentation, which is for everyone present who has participated in this Zoom call. Another area what we mainly focus is also on the puppetry, basically having a puppetry capture done. Uh, so this is again for the stylized. If you're looking for a stylized animation, if your rig is particularly kind of different, that's also a possibility of having it mocap done. Right. Now coming to the post-production side, generally how I mean the pipeline which Centroid has is once you shoot on a stage, we provide clients with a in-house software called Centroid Trimmer, which basically you can trim the footage what you're looking for, select the actors of which actors data do you require, and at the same time get the cost as well, which can be used for your evaluation as well, how much that particular animation costs. This is quite handy since we are doing performance capture, so everything in sync. So even if you're capturing the body animation, we get your facial animation synced at the same time code. Coming to the post production, this video will highlight on what are the post production services, what are the post production services that we provide. I mean, we take care on the body solving and retargeting as well. We do the cleanup, tracking, and also the retargeting back. This particular thing which is happening with the ribbon dance, that was done for the Olympics, where we had captured the ribbon of a ribbon dancer. It was quite difficult for the cleanup team to do that, do the post. But yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of optical capture. Basically, you can capture practically any moving object inside a capture volume. So focusing on the mainly now on the post production challenges that the I mean I have just segregated in three different parts. The first is the rigging, second is animation, and the third is the integration and the delivery, which usually clients have problem with. So I mean all these problems generally is the questions. I mean, these are the questions which I have experienced in the past 3 to 4 years in the Indian projects which I've been working on. But yeah, I mean, post this, all the questions are over. I would be really happy for you guys to come in, unmute yourself and ask any questions if you have. I mean, one of the first questions that comes starting with the rigging, the one of the first questions which usually the client has is what kind of rig works best for the motion capture? Is it an FK or IK based rig? I mean, for us, the FK works. I mean, to be honest, both works as the answer says. For us, it's the FK based rig. It's just because we can also set up the live previous during the shoot. Then this is for the whoever comes on the production shoot. It can be the animation director or the creative supervisor, and they can visualize how the character is performing in real time, just to get a sense of an idea of how the final output would come in, though there would be a cleanup which comes in later. But yeah, you can still plot the FK animation back to the IK rig, and for your secondary animation which you would be adding on top of it, because I understand FK, I mean IK is the important rig. uh, Coming down to the second important question, uh, what I feel, I mean, generally that's for the facial side. So body rig is quite simple, because I mean, I believe everyone has a very great experience in body rigging. But one important question, which lies in India, is the facial pipeline, facial capture pipeline, because that's something quite difficult to achieve. I mean, generally, that's the question which the client has, is what would be the best rig. In my opinion, and also in the best pipeline for the mocap, I would say the blend chip plus joints is the good option. Generally, that's just because we generally drive the facial animation using blend chips. So we drive blend chips when we are doing a real time previs, and we also retarget based on the blend chip rigs. The joints will be helpful in the post if you wish to tweak any animations further, or exaggerate any particular joints. So yeah, I mean, the combination works the best for, if you're looking for the good result, then I would say the combination has to be done, right? uh, I mean, this is another question is what when someone asks for the blend shape, what are the minimum blend shapes that one should have in if they are looking for a real-time previs for a facial or also for the facial mocap pipeline, facial capture pipeline. I would say, I mean, 44 is just a number. This varies basically. It depends on the studio to studio. For me, it's 44. For someone, it might be 50, 55. But in general, the more blend shapes you have, the better flexibility the rig has to take the animation input. For real-time previs, we generally, since we are using the face over pipeline, we generally restrict it to 45 to 50 blend shapes for driving the face in real time in Unreal or Motion Builder. But for the post, it just helps us. The more blend shape you has, the better team can work on the facial rig. Now, I mean, one rig which particularly I have noticed across, I mean, maximum 90% of the studios I have worked in across the Indian studios that are still in production has been done before or are still coming up, is that the rigs are made from the advanced skeleton rig. And then since this, it's just the difficulty where everyone writes how would they bake the if I mean mocap data into an ASR rig. I mean, a lot of you might know this way, but in my opinion, there are four ways which I mean works the best for. I mean, the first preference always I give it is the mocap matcher. I have done a setup, a quick demo for the workshop kind of demo for all the I mean pipeline. The human IK is the easier one where you characterized your character in the human IK panel of a Maya or Motion Builder. Any import and export is option there, but it's a bit tedious that you need to set up an advanced skeleton rig already existing with the mocap data and then import and export anim. What I'll be now showing you would be a demo of how you would be using a mocap matcher for referencing your mocap data into an SK rig. So I'll just quickly share my screen to the other data. Just a second. This would be so yep. So this is particular file which I hope everyone can see the Maya file which I'm having right now, which is with a tuner rig from ASR itself. So this is the file which I'll be using it for the reference now. What the way we'll be doing right now is following the mocap matcher pipeline. When I say mocap matcher, that's the inbuilt option which is there in the selector. Please let me know if you're not able to see anything. Please let me know. Give me a heads up if you can't see the options on my screen. Right. So generally, what I would prefer is to reference the mocap data in. So if what we have is the currently just reference a particular file over here. So say tuner room. Uh, so generally, I would reference and bring in a mocap data which we deliver. Generally, when we work in ASR rig, if you give us an FK version of your ASR rig, we would plot the animation on that and give it back. So something which you would have, what you would have is basically an character and animation applied on the FK rig basically. So now to plot this particular animation back to your ASR rig, it's a very simple process, but depends on the workstation you're working on. It takes time for baking into from FK to IK. So generally what we would do is start with the mocap matcher, and it's very simple out there. Just 3 or 4 clicks option. You just select from the templates, you just select the ASR template which we can provide you, or if you have an internal team, they can also make the template available for you. uh, just select any join in your character, the imported character which you have, whichever character. Just select any particular join. It can be the root or any other. Scan. That's all. Go, and you just have to just click through this button, zero out mocap joints. Clicked on that. Set rig to all FK. Done. Select an FK. If you want to connect your FK extras for the limbs, you can connect mocap skeleton. Bam, and then bake. That's all. So it's quite simple, straightforward process for the mocap matcher. All the steps has been mentioned in the functions area over here, which can be followed. and it's quite automated now. So now what this is doing is basically it's plotting all the animation which was applied on a FK rig back to the FK controllers which an ASR has. uh, Now to plot it back to an IK controllers of your rig, there are scripts available where you can bake everything. So right now at this moment in ASR there is no option to bake all FK to all IK. You would have to go individually, but there are mel scripts which are there, which I'll just show you in a moment. The mel script which I use, that's basically will help you convert all the FK back to the IK in just one take. So just waiting for this to get over. Once the bake is over, and then I can look forward. Yeah. Right. So yeah, I mean, all this depends on the CPU workstation. It's because it's CPU based. Depends on what CPU you're using. I'm just using my laptop, home laptop, so it's quite slow over here. And yeah, once it's baked, you just disconnect the animation and just take out your reference which you just imported right now. So I'll just remove this reference, and now what you have basically is your ASR rig with mocap data applied on the basically on the animation. I mean, what animation I'm using right now is just the standard ROM, the range of motion which Centroid provides for testing your character's joint limitations. So this particular, again, if you want to now bake it to the Nike rig, it's quite possible. You just have to go to the bake. Yeah, sorry. You just have to go to the bake, and there are options for baking from FK to IK arms, and this is the individual process. And again, it's going to be a very time-consuming process. So what you can do is basically have a mail script, which I'll just show you on the screen over here. That's this basically. If you can see as bake anim, and you just mention down all the joints, click enter, it will bake everything to an FK. So your IK joins basically. I mean, I have baked this takes some time. I would say it takes up to, again, depending on the machine. For me it took nearly 3 minutes for the complete bake, and it also depends on the duration of your animation you're basically utilizing. So I have, for this purpose, to save time over here, I have already baked, and I'll be sharing you that screen how the baked animation looked like, so you have an idea. So this is the bake animation which you're looking at on my screen right now, which was basically what I did was completely baking all the animation to the IK joints. And now you have all the animations which are baked into the hand IK and the leg IK controllers, the same animation which you just saw right now. So and then your animators can then further go along with your existing pipeline, or further, if they want to edit anything further, or if they want to avoid the clipping. That's generally what happens. If your character is proportionally different from the motion capture, I mean the actor whom we are capturing, if it's different, then there would be an effect of having the actor's clip. So those things can be avoided later on, if you have the flexibility of an IK rig. Right now, this was one of the, I mean what I just showed you right now was okay, where's my present? Yeah, what I showed you right now was basically the first method, that was mocap matcher method. The human IK is straightforward. Please let me know if you would require help on that. I can show you the quick demo of that itself. Post the entire presentation. But if you're familiar with it, then perfect. The third method is motion capture library. Now this is something which again requires you to have a mail script, which we can maybe help you, or the ASR team can help you in basically doing this thing. What this does, it's a very straightforward method. What this will do is you need to just use your say this is my particular animation rig, ASR tuner rig. There's a new option called mocap library, which is now available in the latest version of ASR. You just have to go in the mocap library, and then just set a part of the mocap library over here. So I'm setting it to the one on the desktop where I have an animation applied. You select the animation from the drop down. I have selected the Plastic Man ROM, which I'll be using, and I just click on apply. Okay, so that's not the folder path, but one second, I'll just quickly go to the, yep, this is the folder path. And from here I'll just select the FBX, Plastic Man ROM .fbx, and once I click on apply, bam, it's done. Now I don't need, so even if I scrub my timeline right now, it's all baked over here. But if you see, this is not baked on your existing era. It's just giving you, it's just driving the joints based on what we have as a reference over here. uh, to plot this animation, you can again follow the same script which I showed, or you can basically bake sorry, basically go to the anim bake and probably bake quick IK to FK controllers. This will bake all the animation on existing rig, and then you can delete the reference. You can remove the reference out, and you can have. So this is the quicker method, but this requires you to have a custom plugin developed for it. Uh, but if you don't have it, then I would recommend the mocap matcher is the reliable. I mean, that will help you in getting the pipeline quicker. So that was the method of, I would say, plotting the animation back to the ASR rigs. So these are the four workflows I would recommend. But yeah, I mean, you all can also recommend any workflow you have been following for retargeting an FK rig to an IK ASR rig. Uh, in terms of creature, if you're having a creature or a quadruped animal, we would recommend if you can give us the FK rig. So we would apply the animation on the FK joints of the creatures. Even if the creature is having extra limbs, and if just an FK rig would work for us. It will also help us for delivering, as well as it will help us for setting up the live previs during the shoot. So your again, it will help us. Your whoever is coming on the production day, it might be the animation director or the supervisor, can visualize the characters and see what needs to be taken care. Coming down to the second section, that's on the animation side. I mean, this is a big I would say a fear which the animator sometimes has, is that since the mocap data is keyed on every frame, how would you modify it? I mean, for me, and generally for even the pipeline which we follow internally for modifying the animation, is the animation layer. So animation, if you have a motion builder pipeline, you can edit over there, or if you're having all Maya, you can still use animation layer and modify your animation over there. So again, if you require any maybe a small demo on that, I can help you show that demo post this presentation when once we start the Q&A section. Right. So I mean, generally, yeah, there are sometimes clients who doesn't use ESR. They have a custom rig, or sometimes in the game industry, it's all FK based rigs. So for them, I would suggest, if you have an FK rig, you can still have the IK controllers from the human IK panel, and you can still modify the animation out there. So FK rig doesn't restrict from not switching it. The human IK is a good, I would say, in my terms. In my recommendation, it's not bad. It's a good enough for you to modify your animation if you require any motion editing to be done on top of a mocap rig. What I mean, generally, there might be also a question of what kind of data do we provide. I mean, we have a team in Serbia where we have developed, and it's been working from past 20 years now, where we have created our own proprietary cleanup software. So it's not something based on the industry on the shelf software. It's proprietary, created for us, which deals with a very high quality data cleanup. So that's the most important, I would say, selling point of Centroid, that the quality of data is good. So we do the cleanup, we also track, and we also provide the retargeting back to the character. So all this is inclusive in the cost which we charge for the post production assets. But and then further on, once we give it to the studio, the studios can further add finger animation. If you're not capturing it, sometimes we do capture, sometimes we don't, depends on the client and the project. But even if we do finger capture, there might be a requirement where you need to tweak certain animation on the finger if the finger data was occluded during the capture. And then you can also do motion editing. Motion editing is basically it includes clipping, looping, and a lot of other effects. What clipping is basically when your character, when the actor whom we are shooting is thin, and the CG character might be a creature, or it can be any unproportionate rig. Then there's an effect of clipping which comes in, where your mesh interaction happens. Your elbow might go intersect between your hips, such kind of things. Now those things can be avoided on during the shoot as well, with a custom, if we make the actor wear weights and everything. or that can be done in post as well. It can be modified in the post as well. I mean, we do provide the services with an extra additional rates for that. But if you have an in-house animators, even they can do it easily, so that's not a big problem for that. Right, so where was I? Yeah. So I mean, this comes for the, I mean, generally for the integration and delivery thing. When would someone hire us? I would say, as if it's possible during this, after the script breakdown, that would be perfect, so that we can come in, we can help you in what's possible, what's not possible to be shot on our stage, and as well as understand how much cost effective you can make it, so that it's and how much you can do it with the keyframe animation, how much you can do with post. So I would say as early as possible we can come in, review your assets, we can share a sample asset which would work best for the pipeline, or we can work along with your asset and set up a pipeline, so that once we give the mocap data, it's all right there. So this is quite important, when you would hire us for the project. I mean, how long do we take for delivery? I mean, it totally depends on for the facial. It totally depends on how complex we are dealing with. If you are dealing with very photorealistic animation, or mid-level or low-level, so that's a bit trickier answer on how long we take for the facial delivery. But for body, it's quite simple. I mean, we can start delivering. As you can see on the screen, is that we can start delivering within the 3 days of the shoot. Once the ROM and the order has been confirmed by the client, we can start delivering, I would say, 10 minutes to 15 minutes of animation in 3 working days. Right. So what is the frame rate and format do we provide data in? We generally work with the FBX format, but if you have a standard pipeline, we can discuss this thing prior and understand what basically, but the FBX generally works the best, so that you can basically then go ahead and use any other software which you have. At Standard, we are capturing at 120 FPS for the body, but we can still deliver, downsample it and then deliver at your required frame rate. But again, this needs to be cleared before the pipeline. But yeah, you can generally have any mocap data back to you in the set frame rate. Uh, for I mean, animation, some of the animators over there, there might be a question, if you don't want to shoot, do you have any preset library of animation? Because of this COVID situation, not a lot of clients might not be able to shoot. So what would the best way? We do have an online website, which we can just quickly start that website. That's called the motioncapturelibrary.co.uk, where basically, if you go in the shop, there are plenty of animations. There's a horse animation, there's a locomotion, zombies, animation packs, sports, a lot of things are there. And all of these animations are very cheaper. It's just less than 200 rupees. It's 190 rupees basically, where you can just go. It's more like an website, I would say an Amazon website. You click on the product. So this is an example of that. You click on the product, add to cart, it gets to your cart. You can check out after with your credit card, and you can see your cart over here, and you can check out with your card. And you can also visualize your basically your scene, what kind of animation you would be getting. For this particular, if you're ordering from a website, we would be only sending the skeletal data, so we would not be retargeting it to your rig. That is something which we don't do in the library data. So but you can just check around, just see all the animation. There are a lot of plenty of animation for sports. There is I would say, okay, so this panel is coming in between, sorry, but there's animation for zombies and a lot of other things out over here. And you can also, if you're interested in the animation packs, there is completely packs for crowd animation, pirates animation, uh, guns, rifles, swords. So all this are pack. Basically the cost of this is higher because there are more than, I would say, 5 or 6 animations involved in this one particular pack. So this is something which you can, if you're interested, you can check our website. There's also an horse lab data, where horse are usually expensive, the quarter-bird animation, but there are plenty of animation. So this particular library of horse was used for 2 episodes of Game of Thrones. One was the Battle of Bastards, and also the Spoils of War, uh, where we also provided the soldiers on the ground via a library animation. So it's you can maybe probably check after the session and see if that might be interested uh, to you. Okay, right. Now coming down to the, I mean, we are close to the end of the presentation though. So generally, this is mainly for the decision makers. I mean, how beneficial it would be using a mocap pipeline. This is a study which I'm doing right now, basically understanding of how much time resource it would take for a 1 minute of a facial plus body capture. Just 1 minute of any animation where it's a character animation, and the body is quite realistic. You're getting the new. It's basically like a for body, it's getting a realistic animation. Uh, how much time would it take if you go ahead with the traditional keyframe animation, and how much time and resource would you take for the mocap animation? I can go in on detail about this thing, but just to keep it everything on time, uh, I can maybe speak to you later, give you a presentation about it based on individual basis, because and explain you what this cost, or how I have included the cost and all those things later post the presentation. Now, just coming to the important side, the thing which I mentioned, that I have a special announcement for everyone who has participated for this Zoom, uh, is that we are providing a 10% discount to all the participants who are currently participating. So if you're shooting on a Centroid stage, we would be offering a 10% discount. So on the post production invoice which we have, so that would be how much data you would order in the overall invoice of post production. So that's something I'll be sending you an email about this as well, post this session. So for just keeping, and you can maybe probably share with your team, and see, if you wish to shoot anything from our side. uh, Cool.